So if we're about relationships as believers and we want to have good, healthy relationships, yes, we do accommodate. Yes, we do try to please people. Yes, we do serve them when we can. But then again, there are limitations. There are boundaries. There are ways that we are enabling through our kindness to someone else be selfish and being a taker and not a giver, and there's not a mutual relationship there. And so if you find yourself in that kind of position where you give and you give and you give and you give until you're sick of it, and then you blow up, and then you feel guilty and bad because you didn't handle it well, and you go back and you're giving and giving and giving and giving, and you blow up again, and then you feel guilty, so you go back and you're giving. That's not a good cycle, girlfriend. I want to teach you how to do it different. We talked about 2 verses in Galatians. One is bear one another's burdens. And right after that, it says, and each one should carry his own load. You see, sometimes in our compassion and our empathy, which are wonderful things in a Christian life and in any human being's life, we overfunction and we enable someone to underfunction. And that enables them to stay either immature or lazy or selfish or irresponsible. And so I'm going to give you 2 Bible stories that support this. So the 2 stories I want to talk to you from the Bible, and I'm not going to turn to them, but you can read them. The first story is in the New Testament, and it's in Matthew. I think it's in some of the other Gospels too, but I'm not exactly sure where. You'll just have to Google the 10 virgin story. Okay, you've all heard the story. There were 10 virgins who were going out to meet the bridegroom. Jesus is telling the story. And they all took their oil lamps because it was late at night and they were going to have to stay out all night waiting for the bridegroom to come. And 5 of the virgins didn't take enough oil to last the whole night. So when they heard the virgin coming and the trumpets blowing or whatever, the 5 virgins who didn't bring enough of their oil, their oil lights were going out. So they said to the 5 virgins who came prepared, give me some of your oil. Now, what is a nice Christian, people-pleasing, gracious, lovely girl to do? Well, of course you can have some of my oil. Take it. That's not what they said. What they said is, no, go get your own oil. Go to town and buy what you should have bought in the first place. That's your responsibility. Now, they didn't quite say it that way. They just said, no, go to town and buy your own. But implying, hey, it's not my responsibility to cover for your irresponsibility. You didn't take responsibility to bring enough of what you needed, and now you're asking me to give you mine. And if I give you mine, I'm not going to have enough, right? Because we only have so much oil. Now, this is where we get messed up in our head as Christians because I'm supposed to sacrifice to help them, not to help them be irresponsible, right? She was irresponsible. So when the bridegroom came, you'd think he would have scolded the selfish girls for not sharing their oil, but he didn't. He didn't. They were the wise ones. You see, you only have limited resources, girlfriend. You have time, you have energy, you have money, you have oil, and sometimes you have plenty to share. Sometimes you don't have enough to share. But even when you have plenty to share, sometimes it's not wise to give or to overfunction, because that only enables someone else to continue to be irresponsible. And that's not good for them, and it's not good for you, because eventually you get sick of it and the relationships get really lopsided. So I promised you 2 Bible stories. I'm going to tell you one more. And this is in Proverbs 6. And it talks about if you have the means by which to co-sign on a loan because someone else is irresponsible with their money management, so they need you as a co-signer, don't do it. The Bible says, don't do it. Even if you have the means to do it, don't do it. Don't sign your name to cover someone's debt for them to spend money that they shouldn't be spending because they've been irresponsible with their own credit rating. That sounds so mean. That sounds so heartless. Like, oh my gosh, I don't want them to think I'm mean. I don't want them to think I'm selfish. I have plenty of money. I could do it. I could do it, but should I do it? Should I do it? I have plenty of time. I could be able to do all this. Should I do it? Right? That's the question. I was speaking on relationships, and this is just a single guy in a dorm, and he said, my parents always taught me to be a servant, and I've tried to be a servant to my roommate, but I'm cleaning up his side of the room. I did his laundry once. I brought him a meal when he was sick. I let him borrow my car, but he never reciprocates. He never gives back to the relationship. He never helps me. He doesn't clean my side of the room, and the relationship is starting to feel really unbalanced, and I'm getting madder and madder. Should I just die to myself and just keep serving him? And I said, well, that's up to you, but actually your service is enabling him, your roommate, to be immature, self-centered, and lazy. Is that good for him? I never thought about it that way. Yeah, we need to think about it that way. So this is really important. You can still be a good, godly woman and say no, not because even you don't want to, but because it's not good for them. It's not good for them. They need to learn to bear their own load, carry their own load of responsibility. And you aren't to take responsibility to rescue everybody out of their messes and be a people pleaser just so they like you.